Hello. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So, I'm Rakshita from Mismo System, your host for today's session. I welcome you all to the webinar. Thank you for taking out the time and joining us today in this webinar. So, today's webinar is on the topic Discover the Future of Analytics with Microsoft Fabric. So before moving forward, I am sharing some logistical information. We are turning off mic and camera to maintain the decorum, but chat is always open for Q&A. You can put your questions and the speakers will answer them. Let's start with the webinar. So we are going to explore one of the most innovative and advancement topic in data analytics, that is Microsoft Fabric. Microsoft Fabric is a game-changing platform for organizations who are looking to take full control of their data and analytic strategies to build and to address the challenges of managing and deriving value from vast amount of data. So Fabric integrates a wide range of tools and capabilities into a single unified experience that empowers organizations to unlock the true potential of their data. In today's data driven world, like unlocking business insights and driving innovation hints on leveraging analytics. That's where Microsoft Fabrics comes in. A powerful, unified and analytic platform designed to elevate your data journey and transform the way your data analytics approach. So, before moving forward, here is our agenda of today's session. We will be starting with a brief introduction followed by a deep dive into Microsoft Fabric and a demo. We are also always open for Q&A and in the end we will also do a Q&A session. So before going to the webinar, I would like to introduce our panelist. So we have Mr. Vineet Arora, co-founder and principal consultant. He has experience of 23 years and expertise in Microsoft technologies, worked with enterprise customers in different multiple countries, and he is responsible for operations, strategy, and growth. Welcome, Vineet, sir.
Thank you, Rakshita.
We have Mr. Sumran Lingwal, Chief Software Architect, Head of Delivery Software. He is our software leader with 21 years of experience, worked with Fortune 500 companies, and expert on data strategies and software engineering. He is responsible for software engineering practices. I welcome you, Sumran, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Rakshita.
We have Mr. Kaustubh Mishra, software analytics engineer, and he have experience of 3 years in analytics. Welcome, Kaustubh. Okay, so with lot of pleasure, I would like to welcome Mr. Ashish Sahu from Microsoft. He is a partner technology strategist working with global partner solution team in Microsoft India. He has experience of 20 plus years with on-prem and cloud infrastructure, web, desktop, mobile app development, and extensive open source software stacks. So, welcome, sir, Ashish, sir.
Thank you, Rakshita. Glad to be here.
Once again, I welcome you all to the webinar. So, to keep interactive the webinar, I am putting some poll questions. So, here are the poll questions for you. We just want to understand the trends in the industry. So, here is a poll. So, how familiar are you with Microsoft Fabric as an analytics platform? So, participant, please answer. Okay, we are getting some answers. Okay, so next question, I'm launching the next question. What is the biggest challenge your organization faces when it comes to data processing? So participant, please kindly answer. Okay, we are getting some interesting answers. Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, so we are now closing the poll. Thank you for answering the poll questions. So now let us start with the presentation on the topic, Discover the Future of Analytics with Microsoft Fabric. Over to you, Vineet, sir.
Thank you, Rakshita. Good afternoon, everyone. And once again, thank you so much for taking out time today. I will quickly brief about Mismo Systems, and then we can get to the topic of the day, that is Microsoft Fabric. We are born in the cloud company, and will be going to complete 9 years soon. We are a team of 60 people with about 80% of them are technical staff. The team is also led by the tech founders. So we are tech founders. I have my colleague Sumran here also with me. Each of us have more than 20 years of experience in the industry, and we have been on the other side of the table as well. We have been into consulting operations. So we know the importance of data and what our customer expect from us. We have 100 plus customers spread across continents where we provide them our services. We work very closely with our partner, Microsoft, who keeps on innovating and has come up with this flagship product, which is going to change how analytics will work. We are one of the first partners to get solution partner designations from Microsoft on Azure Infra, data and AI and modern work. Talking specifically about analytics, the first project which we did was probably back in 2018. And since then, we have helped many customers in their analytic journey. The differentiator which we bring is not only the expertise on Power BI, which is a front end, which is an amazing tool we all know when it comes to visualization, but we are very strong in data engineering when it comes to backend, creating the data estate for the customer, what is right for them, data lakes, data warehouse, data factory, data transformation. That's where we excel on. And we believe that's the basic thing should be in place before you get into this. And that's what is one of the challenge that is solved by Fabric also. We have already started utilizing Fabric, and we are going to see it today in action. Without any further delay, I'll hand over to my colleague Sumiran to take the discussion forward. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vineet. Thank you, everyone, for attending and showing the interest in the webinar. So I think I'll take a couple of minutes. I'll talk about the practice, and then we can deep dive after that. So I think basically this is one of our core practice, what we follow in Mismo, right? So what we do here is, I think broadly we work on two areas. So the first one is the analytics and data engineering that we work on. Now, what happens is this is useful to the clients who don't have any presence on the analytics front. So we help them take the first step towards analytics and data engineering. And maybe to the clients who have some presence with analytics, but they want to explore data engineering side of it. They are just using Power BI or Tableau or other only the tools. So this is what we do and help our customers. So typically what we do here is I think on analytics we take care of descriptive, diagnostic, and exploratory analytics under this area. By that, what we mean is in descriptive, we get the old data and we show, visualization and insights. Diagnostic is try to find the cause based on those reports and dashboards, what caused this, changes. And exploratory is you have the data, but, somehow you want to explore further, deep dive into your data, right? So through Q&A, nowadays Q&A is there and other exploratory visuals are there. So that we harness to show you all these things, right? Now on data engineering, what we do is basically we only if there is a need, we recommend creating centralized databases, right? So bring your relevant data from multiple applications at one place for analytics purposes. We extend it to data lakes. Let's say if you are getting a lot of structured, unstructured data, we extend it, by putting a data lake before your centralized database. In case you have any warehousing need, we can extend it further to warehouse, right? Where your schemas and your cubes comes into picture. So this is how we recommend the design extension step by step to our clients. And I think the third key area is where the clients struggle actually. This is one of the pain points. Let's say they have a lot of in-house tools, HRMS, ERP systems, internal build custom applications. So integrating with them, bringing the relevant data, right, to the centralized databases or warehouses. So I think we use ETL and ELT tools. We work closely with Microsoft. So I think Azure Data Factory is the choice. It has built-in connectors to connect to SAP, other ERP or HRMS systems, CRM systems. And through web API, we can connect, integrate, or through flat files, right? So it gives us all the possibility. So that's what we do in the first broad area. Second, what we do, I think once the stabilization has been achieved, what we do is we work on advanced analytics, and sometimes we get customers who already has everything set up in the first stage. So we directly work on this stage setting for them. So in advanced analytics, I think broadly, mainly the requirement what we get is the real-time analytics. So in the first area, there is some, we show visualization, everything based on a previous data. Let's say a -1 day we are talking. Now the need is we want to see real-time analytics or near real-time analytics. So this is where we pitch into. Here we use streaming analytics again from Azure platform, data analytics platform, part of Fabric as well. And what is also gaining a lot of interest is the predictive, right, which is part of advanced analytics, right? So based on your historical data, what predictions can I have? So let's say my sales forecast, I want to see, or any other area, domain area, what you want to explore, right? So there we help it, work on it, help our clients. So this we work majorly the domains and clients what we are catering to are majorly from financial industry, BFSI, manufacturing and legal. But as MISMO, we are open for any domain. We want to work with clients across domains, help them build, the solutions which works in best interest for them. So this is a brief overview about the practice. I'll be happy to answer questions later. But now I'll hand over to Costa, who is our senior analytics engineer. He'll deep dive and take you through, particularly through Microsoft Fabric. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumir, sir. Thanks for the brief introduction into the analytics practice. Now let's deep dive into Microsoft Fabric, and I'll try to cover the core services that it has to offer and how enterprises can use these services to manage their analytic and machine learning workflows to basically enhance their operations across board. So all in all, like Fabric offers you a single platform for managing and deploying your analytics and machine learning workflows. And it gives you all the tools to move data from one place to another or process and transform data all within a single platform. So once you have that set up, you can use your existing machine learning models, or you can even build machine learning models on your own, like custom models within Fabric, and use it for your new incoming data so that your business processes and operations are working up to date across departments within your organization. So it gives you a single platform so that you can have multiple data sources coming in, even if it is real-time streaming data or batch data. And you can pull in data from various departments of your organization. So this gives you the capability to bring, transform, and process within a single platform, which was not possible before. I'll deep dive into the core services and we'll even see a demo as well. But right now we'll play a small clip to give you the idea about the platform, how it looks, and what all services are there. So I'll request Rakshita to please play the video now.
Microsoft Fabric is redesigning how we work with data by bringing all your data and analytics tools into a single experience. With Fabric's Data Lake, One Lake, your teams can connect to data from anywhere and all work from the same copy across engines. Your data professionals have all the tools they need, all in one SaaS experience to reduce the cost and effort of integration. Features like Direct Lake Mode in Power BI, which provides a blazing fast, real-time connection to your data, can save you time and cost while providing up-to-date insights. This intelligence can then securely flow to the Microsoft 365 applications people use every day to improve decision-making and drive impact. All backed by Fabric's tight integration with Microsoft Purview to govern and protect your data, no matter where it's used. AI-powered features like Copilot help everyone be more productive, whether it's creating data flows and pipelines, writing SQL statements, or building reports. And as we enter a future built on AI, you can unify, prepare, and model your data to support truly game-changing AI projects. All your data, all your teams, all in one place. This is Microsoft Fabric.
So I hope that video gave you a pretty good idea about the platform and how it looks and how you can access it. Let's talk about the core services that Fabric has. So if I have to divide these like different services within Fabric, there are few services for storing and few services for moving and processing data. And then you have your Power BI, which exists within Fabric as well. So you can build your dashboards and reports as well. And there are additional services, but I think when it comes to the core services, these are the few main services, and I'll talk you through how each can help in your analytics and machine learning workflows. So right off the bat, we have Data Factory, which is uh, an old tool offered by Microsoft on Azure before, but now it is inbuilt in Fabric. And this lets you organize your movement of data. So let's say you have some data on your on-prem SQL server, or you have some files in some storage. So you can basically schedule jobs so that it runs on a scheduled timeline and keeps pumping in the new data every day or every hour, however you schedule it, so that all of your downstream applications or your dashboards are populated with the recent data. So that's the tool that we primarily use for movement of data. And then next we have the Synapse family. Mostly it is data warehousing and databases, but with the addition of notebook features within Fabric, you can write your code for machine learning and even for processing within the Fabric platform. And all of these services are mostly for your backend engineers that look after the data engineering aspects, and then the data scientist that can play around with the pre-existing models as well. Or if they like to create their custom models and deploy it using Fabric, they can very easily do it. And then lastly, we have Power BI. So all of these data warehouses can be linked to a visualization tool. It does not have to be Power BI. You can have your own, but the integration with Power BI is really easy and seamless within Fabric. And obviously, you can use these data warehouses for your other applications as well as a SQL endpoint. And all of these things are stored in a service called OneLake, which is basically a OneDrive for your entire organization. So what I mean by that is if you have multiple databases, for example, your human resource database or your inventory or your daily sales transaction databases or warehouses, all of this is stored in a single place so that any of your team wants to do a ad hoc analysis or they want to look into a specific domain, they don't have to go anywhere else. They can directly do it within the Fabric platform via OneLake. So all in all, these are the core services, and I'll talk you through the benefits of using these services, and what are the advantages of having a single place for all of your enterprise data. So when you talk about cloud platform and analytics, Fabric gives you the ability to bring in your batch data as well. And if you have streaming sensors, for example, some IoT sensors, you can schedule those jobs and you can have almost near real-time analytics and machine learning workflows flowing in. And even in scenarios where you have storage on some separate cloud, for instance, you're using Google Cloud Platform and you have a storage there, or AWS, you have some S3 buckets. So you can create shortcuts in Fabric and you don't have to move all those files and spend resources on the movement. You can basically work on the files that you want to analyze directly, accessing those files via shortcut. So that's a very handy tool when it comes to combining different data sources. And this is the major benefit. Once you have this set up, you have all your organized org data in a single place, then you can actually start to reap the benefits of this with your machine learning and your operations. And we'll see how that works. And the other thing is that Fabric offers is big data processing. So it works on distributed architecture and it uses Spark. So if your organization's data goes to a terabyte scale tomorrow, Fabric has the capacity to scale all of your workflows to that level without compromising on speed. And even if your data grows to a very large scale, all of your machine learning and analytic workflows will handle them efficiently so that you don't have to wait for all the processing that has to be done in the backend. It can scale automatically. It supports various file formats. So not only the traditional CSV, but it has the most efficient column storage type files, for example, Parquet and Avro and other as well. And you can work on these files using Apache Spark, which is a framework for distributed computing. And this has the ability to handle large scale data set. The way you work on data sets using Spark and Fabric is you have a feature called notebooks. And within those notebooks, you can write code, whether in Scala or SQL or R or even Python. And like, for example, with these languages, for example, with Python, there's an API method, PySpark. So using those, you can write your code to basically build your machine learning models or even your processing and cleaning of your data. And this comes in handy when your data goes to a bigger scale. All of your jobs, your code can auto scale if needed so that your process runs efficiently, even if it goes to scale. And similarly, for your data science workflows. So if you have a machine learning model or if you want to create a custom model, you can use Spark again and write these codes within Fabric and maintain multiple models. And Fabric has a few built-in features like AutoML, which lets you train and evaluate your different models. So if you have different versions of model and you want to see the accuracy and which one is the best to deploy for production, you can do this very easily using AutoML. And it also offers MLflow, which is basically a versioning for your model deployment. And even if you're running different kind of experimentations, so you can track all of these changes very easily. So these notebooks are very handy for your data science and analyst teams because they can do all kind of ad hoc analysis or build their custom models as per, even for new needs. If there's a business process in line, they can write the custom codes within Fabric without going to any other platform. Earlier, they had to use some separate environment for running these Spark jobs. Now you can schedule them within Fabric. So this is a game changer when it comes to organizing your workflows. Now let's look at a simple workflow that could be built for an organization. So in any org, you have different kind of data sets and sources. You could have some as simple as Excel or CSV files, or you can have some transactional database, some sensors, or some business web apps that you're running. all of these sources are scattered on different data source, right? So using Fabric, you can bring all of it in to have a bird's eye view of your entire business operation. You can very easily bring it in and store it in a central data warehouse using the notebook, like I just mentioned, right? You can write your custom code for your business logic and your operations and machine learning models, and basically make a highly aggregated golden layer of your data. So this golden layer is basically for the stakeholders or the end users that don't have to necessarily go into all of these technicalities. They are just concerned with the top metrics. So you build that golden layer within Fabric and you project it on your choice of BI tool or some web app, or even offer it as in Notebook for your analyst to do some ad hoc analysis. So the benefit that you get is if you build this, you spend time over here bringing in all of your data in one place, is that you can have a bird's eye view of all different operations going on within your organization. And you can build reports and dashboards so that you can always track the metrics and take actions proactively. With your machine learning models, you will know, okay, when do I have to take this action? So you can proactively solve those problems with the help of this. Otherwise, if your data is scattered all over the place, most of the time and energy goes to basically build those reports and combine them. So you're basically diverting your energy to other tasks. But with this, you can basically build a single repository and automate your workflows with that. I hope this gives you a good picture how Fabric can fit in. Let's talk about the pricing and the capacity. So in Fabric, the compute is basically tracked with the Fabric capacity. So it offers different kind of capacities, and according to your workloads, you can decide which one to go for. So I'll show you. So for development and for dev environment, F2 and F4 is sufficient. And these are the estimated charges on a monthly basis. And keep in mind, this is built only when your jobs are running or some compute is happening. If your entire environment is idle, then it is not built. The billing is paused. So for your dev environments, F2 and F4 are more than sufficient. But if you go for production, then maybe start looking into F16 or F32 as your data grows. So this is one of the compute aspect of pricing, and the other is storage. So in OneLake, there's a standard price for 1 GB. I think it's around 3 rupees in INR. So that's pay as you go as well. So storage is, I think it's considerably very cheap. But when it comes to capacity, you have to look the amount of workload that you have and decide accordingly. And obviously you can auto scale or reduce anytime. It's not fixed. You can go back and change it accordingly. So yeah, these are the things that I have to keep in mind when it comes to deciding which capacity to choose from. Now we'll have a small walkthrough of Fabric, and we'll see a few features that it offers and how it can help you with analytics and overall operations. Over to you, sir.
Okay, so before moving forward, I want to launch few more poll questions. Okay, so what is your primary use case for data science and advanced analytics? Attendees kindly answer. Okay, so thank you for answering. I'm launching next question. What is the scale of data you currently manage or plan to manage with your analytics platform? I hope you have answered. Please answer if you haven't. Okay, thank you so much for answering. So over to you, Ashish sir, for the demo.
Great. Um, Thanks, Kostu, for the overview about the capabilities of Fabric, right? So I have demo that I wanted to show you all, but before I jump into that, I just wanted to I saw a question as well, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about Fabric. So the problem with the analytics, right, in any enterprise of any size has been that the data resides in multiple data silos, right? So bringing them together becomes the first hurdle. Then you have to basically figure out that is that data is of good quality, right? What is the source? What is the lineage? How frequently that data changes, right? And then we have to do your feature engineering, and then finally, once all of this activity is done, which are the biggest hurdles, then you can get started with your analytics journey, right? That's where the problem resides. So if you take a look at the analytics landscape today, you would find thousands of solutions, that handle, another thousand, variety of challenges that you run into: integration, processing, cleansing, before you even get started with your analytics journey. And Fabric solves that problem by giving you a SaaS platform which takes care of your ingestion, which takes care of your data storage, which takes care of your processing, feature engineering, analytics, and also creating reports, using that analytics models that people have built, right? So your data marts, your data models, semantic models, and all that, and finally publishing it with Fabric, right? So right from ingestion to publishing and creating a dashboard, everything gets covered with Fabric as your platform. Uh, the other aspect is that the Fabric was designed grounds up to enable collaboration. So you have data engineers, you have database administrators, you have data, analytics, your BI guys, your analytics team, and your and the people that basically build the dashboard, right? So all of these people work in silos with Fabric console that I'm going to show you shortly, and with the access control and the security model that you get with Fabric. All of these team work in the same console, work on the same version of data, and one, Costa basically alluded to, right? That is your OneDrive for enterprise data, which means that that becomes your one single surface to publish all of your data to all of these teams, all of these people working together, on the same set of data. So uh, what benefit you get with that is that your data is not duplicated. You don't have to work on multiple different versions. As long as the data resides within your enterprise, you basically work on the same copy. Um, so that becomes another thing. Uh, when it comes to data democratization, right? What also happens is that it's not only your data team that is collaborating together, right? Not only data engineers or analytics or data scientist folks. It's also your business users, that can become part of this Fabric workspace that you create for your enterprise. And they can also work on the analytical marts, the data marts that people have created for them, right? So they can use it with Power Apps, the Power Platforms, to create their own visuals, their own reports on top of it. They don't really have to depend only on the BI guys to give them the reports and work on those dashboards, and limit their unique business insights only to the data that is getting shown to them in the dashboard, right? So those are a couple of things. Um, and then that Microsoft's mission is to empower every business and every user in the world, right? So in that spirit, we also make the Copilot available in the Fabric workspace also, right? So you get assistance from within the Fabric console as well throughout your analytic journey. So with that, I'm just going to jump into the demo, right? So give me one sec. Right. So this is my Fabric console that you see. It's on a separate monitor, right? So pardon me if I'm not looking at the camera while talking to you. So this is my Fabric console. If you say, right, this is my home. I can have access to multiple workspaces. Workspaces become the logical boundary for given a project or a team that is working on one set of it's a problem or a department, right? That's what it becomes. I'm into my own workspace right now, and in this workspace, there are 2 panes, right? So I can start my task flow here. I can add a task, which is, basically working with data, right? So fetching the data or working, storing the data or trying to prepare the data, my transformations and things like that. And when I'm done with that, what I get is this one single view of everything that I've done so far, right? So my notebooks are here, my event house is here, which deals with streaming data, real-time intelligence, basically. My lake house is here, semantic models, and so this is my semantic model from my lakehouse, and this is my SQL analytics endpoint for the same lakehouse. So while I'm working on the Spark side of things, if I have people that want to work with the SQL interface, they can also do that. I can create data flow, which is another way to perform the data integration and ETL. People familiar with Power BI will know this. Then I got my data pipelines, my reports, and everything, right? And what I also get is that when I open these experiences, for instance, I want to open this data pipeline. So when this happens, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to show you the Copilot in Fabric, right? Which allows you to work on that particular aspect, but get the GenAI assistance, right? So this is my normal stuff. This is my data flow. I can start my activities. I can create my, whatever ETL pipeline I want to create. In this, okay, I don't see the Copilot here. I think it's missing somewhere. Too many things to look at, actually. Okay, let me go back. Maybe not in the data flow. Let's go back to my workspace. Let me open another data pipeline. Ingest sales data, which I think is based on a CSV file using the data factory feature in Copilot. So sorry, in Fabric, and this is my Copilot, right? So in this, if you see, I get built-in suggestions, so I can click on this or I can create my own prompts here, right? Which allows me to also work with the pipelines, the items that are already stored in my Fabric workspace. So I can refer to these and I can start working with this, right? But that's not what I want to, show as a full-fledged demo today. Let me go back to my workspace. And I want to show that, how it actually helps, business users and, also the users actually, once my semantic model is built and once my report is ready, right? So let me open this report here, which is a Power BI report created within my Fabric workspace. So if you see, right, in this report, I've got 3 pages, which talks about, how the sales reports look like from all across the country, primarily focused on North America region. District monthly sales, and then my new stores reports, right? So how my new reports are doing, how my new stores are doing in terms of sales and all that, right? So I'm going to go into the first page, which is, give me one sec, right? So I'm in the store sales overview. Let me open Copilot. And let me ask a question, saying that, let's say, summarize the visuals on this report, right? So let's do that. Just going through the, all the report. It's looking at everything that is there on all 3 pages, and it's going to give me a summary. So while this is happening, right, you would have seen, that there are also some, pre-populated prompts that was given to me. I also get a prompt store here, right? A prompt guide, actually. So I can select any of these, or I can do my own custom prompt. So if you see, right, I basically told this, that summarize the visuals on this report. So it has gone through all of the visuals across all of these pages and is kind of, giving me a verbal summary of this. Which, if you're looking at a report for the first time, which you are today, right? You'll have to go through all of the dashboards, look at the data, understand the semantic model, and, then finally start making sense out of it. So with this, you kind of skip that step. You basically get something that you can read and understand, what really happened here, right? So that's what Copilot does as a viewer for you for the first time. I can also, change my page and, kind of limit it to only the page here, actually. But before I do that, I wanted to explain, right? So on this report, right, you see these numbers, which are, basically like a footnotes, So I've got this footnote. So it says, July recorded the lowest variance percentage at minus 27.99% with sales of 2.33 millions of US dollars. If I click on this, the footnote, it shows me, that which visual actually is the source of this data, right? Similarly, I've got this one, which takes me to this. I've got this one and this one and this one, right? So let me go to the store sales overview and let me give it a prompt, similar prompt, but I'm going to say, that summarize visuals on this page. That's going to work through the visuals and the data again. And we are going to see the similar kind of output, but this time, it is going to only limit itself to this particular page actually. And what I'm trying to show is, right, this is the footnote that tells me, that it is actually coming from this particular, card, the part of this particular visual, right? But then if you take a look at this one, right, it basically is a calculated insight. And this calculated insight is actually a way Copilot actually goes through the numbers and does, its own calculation. So it could be totals, it could be multiplication, it could be, something else that happens on that data. So it not only goes through the visuals on this page, but it kind of also does its own calculation. So if you take a look at this one, right, it basically says that March contributed significantly to the yearly sales account, accounting for the 16.99% of total sales. This is not there in this particular report explicitly. This is something that Copilot did on its own, because that's what Copilot is supposed to do. It's supposed to give you the data and analyze the data for you. That context and reasoning is built into this particular experience, right? Now let's jump into the new stores page, and I'm going to say, that give me the, but before that, let me see if I've set any filters, because I typically do. So let me clear the filter and let me put this. So I'm going to say, that list the top fashion direct by sales performance. So these are my stores, right? And it's going to go through the data, because this is exclusively about the new stores, and I've cleared the filter. So if you see, right, these are the 5 stores that have, based on, these are the top 5 stores that I have. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to store type. Actually, yeah. So I'm going to go to name, and I'm going to exclude, say, Charleston. Maybe that's an outlier. I don't want to, look at the information that is coming from that store. I want to look at everything else. What if, my top performing store or my top performing location is excluded? How does the sales look like for the rest of the locations? So that's what I'm trying to do actually. Oops, it actually did not filter. Something wrong with my filtering was wrong. I actually limited only to Charleston. So let me select all and let me exclude Charleston, and let me give the same prompt to my Copilot again. So I was talking about, right, I want to exclude the outlier and I want to analyze the data for the rest of the entities there, right? So that's what happens here, right? So if you take a look at this, in this report, I filtered Charleston as the location, and now the same query is giving me the answer, which is excluding that one. So what happens after, the top one is excluded? So that's what is happening here. And I can also do this, in kind of, multiple languages, right? So that, the LLM models are, basically conversant not only with English, but many other languages. So I could ask a question in a different language. I could ask it to give me summary in a different language. That would also happen. The other thing, that we typically want to do is that let me go back and clear the filter so that my queries are not skewed because of this filter. And let me ask a question, that we have done with ChatGPT n number of times, right? So I'm going to tell that summarize this page in a way that allows me to use it in an email to leadership, and give me something which is ready to be used in the email. So it's going to do the same. You have seen that that same kind of overview earlier in this session today. Now if you see, right, it's an email that is ready with the insights from this particular page, which I could simply copy and send it in an email for the people to take a look. I mean, the leadership, that wouldn't want to go through the dashboards themselves, but they would want, they're depending on you to give them the insight. So you can copy and paste it as it is, or you can enrich with your own insights as well. It's a co-pilot, right? So I have to go back and verify if the data is right, if it is it sounds right, if the language is okay, and things like that, right? So that's what is happening. What I can also do is I can quickly show you that all we have done as a reader for this data, right? So when I jump into the edit mode of my Power BI dashboard, right? This is my semantic model. This is how my data looks like. So I have my sales, I have my data organized by district, items, stores, and time. What I can do is, let me open Copilot again. And what I can do, imagine that, my data, this data has been made available to me, by my analytics folks. I can come back and I can say, that give me suggestion for a new report page. So I will get, multiples of these things. These are the suggestions that the Copilot is giving me. But what I can do is, I can give my own custom prompt as well. And I'm going to give it a prompt which says that create a page to examine sales trends across different territories, comparing current year sales with last year sales. And let me just send it. If you say right, going through all of this data, analyzing and giving me this reports, my new page has been created now. What I can do is, if I don't like something, if there's something that I don't want to include, or if I want to modify some of these visuals, I can basically do that. So in this case, what I'm doing is that Copilot created a page for me, and now I can modify and create a version that is actually suitable for my requirements, or the requirements of the leadership that we want to basically give it to, right? What we can also do is, on this page, let me see if I'll remove this particular visual, and I'm going to add this visual, which is called a narrative, right? If you work with Power BI, you already are familiar with this. So I'll enable Copilot here. I'll say answer likely question from leadership, pre-populated prompt for me, right? And then I'm going to only include this particular page. I could select all the pages from this report, but I'm on this page, so I want to limit my narrative only to this page, and I'm going to say update, which is already happening here. So it's going through all the visuals, all the data that is there on this particular page, and it's going to create a narrative for me. Right. So if I close this, this is how it is. And with that, I think I've taken probably more than what I was allocated for today's call. There are many more things you can do with, this thing. What we saw in detail today is that how Copilot in Power BI in Fabric is, helping you not only create reports and customize reports, but it also allows you to analyze the data which has been made available to you, as a viewer and not as an author, right? The same kind of functionality is also available with, pretty much all the other experiences in the Fabric workspace. So for instance, before I close, I just wanted to show you a very quick glimpse of, say if I open the notebook here. There's a notebook which is there as part of my workbook notebook today in my workspace today. And within this, once Copilot becomes available, right, it's just getting enabled right now. Right. So if I click on Copilot and this experience, it basically gives me prompts, and I can also do this. Maybe I can use this particular thing, load manage data into a data frame. If I copy this prompt again, put it here. This is coming from, sorry. Okay, I've not installed this one, but once I install my previous libraries, I would be able to do this. I can load data from my location to data frame. I can also get Python related help, and all that happens. All that thing also happens with Copilot. And with that, yeah, I think that was about it. So just wanted to make you familiar that not only Fabric solves your problem in terms of collaboration and removing the data silos within your enterprise in terms of data sources that you have. It also gives you a platform that you can also extend with I mean, you also utilize to the fullest using the Copilot. So what you're not familiar with, you can, get help from Copilot to do. And it also allows you to take your, data models and data marts outside Fabric and, also integrate with not only Azure first party services, but also the third party services as well. So with that, yeah, I think I'm done. Rakshita, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the detailed demo. So, few more poll questions for you. So, okay.
While we do
What
that,
is
Ashish, there are a couple of questions on Copilot in the chat box. You can please have a look at that.
Second.
yeah?
Are we able to customize these charts like font size, bar, and labels using Copilot? To not exactly, because those visuals, have their own, predefined templates. But what you can do is you can definitely, alter, the charts and all that. There's, I mean, yeah. We did not have sufficient time for all the features to look at today, but you know but that is possible. You can create charts, you can also modify charts, you can also filter the data that is getting utilized to create charts. You could create a pie chart and you can exclude certain data points in your prompt to Copilot to exclude that particular data from creating that visuals and all that. But beyond that, once your visual is added to the page, you can obviously go back and modify it to your own requirements. And right, I think Kaustubh is answering a bunch of questions. So how can we integrate Python with Fabric and Power BI? So the notebooks are actually they support, they are Python notebooks, right? But I mean, you can use Python, you can use SQL, you can also use PySpark, and there are many other languages that are supported for those notebooks. So you can include the magic commands there in the notebook, and you can do that. In fact, I don't really have a notebook that shows you this, but I think you can do % Python in a notebook and then include the Python commands there. By default, it is PySpark. It is
Yeah,
Spark,
just
sorry, not PySpark.
sure. So within the same notebook, you can use different languages. So if your team is
Yes.
comfortable with SQL, you can use that by invoking the magic command and write
Yeah.
SQL queries and R or Python, whichever you're comfortable with, all within the same environment. You don't have to make a separate notebook for a different language. So that is very much possible.
Absolutely right. Another question, Databricks will not be available in Fabric, followed by seamless integration with all the other components of Fabric with Databricks. So that's a great question, actually, right? So the one lake, which is the the data, that's your data layer in Fabric, actually, right? So that's built on top of ADLS APIs. So it's compatible with any um, application or a solution that can work with ADLS, the Azure Data Lake storage. So which means, that while all of, the data that if you already are Databricks customer, your data is probably already residing in ADLS. What you can do is you can, you can add that ADLS storage as an external shortcut to your OneLake. So that same set of data becomes available within Fabric, for the other Fabric experiences to work. So for what scenario Databricks makes sense, or your existing use cases that you are already implementing in Databricks, you can keep using it. For the Fabric items and Fabric capabilities that you want to utilize going forward, you can use that external connection through the shortcuts within OneLake to work on the same set of data. So no duplication. You can use this two products side by side. OneLake does support Unity catalog or not? So Unity catalog is, I think, as far as I know, it's your data governance, right? So that's where the Purview actually comes into the picture. So you can, Microsoft Purview works with Unity catalog, if I'm getting the question right.
Yeah,
And
so
Fabric also supports. Sorry, go ahead, Austin.
correct, correct, sure. So you're right. So it does have the governance abilities, but Unity catalog is something that comes on Databricks. So the similar thing on Fabric is Purview. So you can use that and create your data governance policies so that only the users that are required to see that data can work with that data. Nobody else can basically access that. So that is possible.
Right. Yeah.
So Rakshita, is
Okay.
there any question which is not answered in the chat? Did we miss anything?
How can we integrate Python with Fabric and Power BI also? I think, yeah, Kaustubh has already answered it. Sorry.
Okay, so I think there is one question from Sanjay, how the architecture would be considering having Databricks, data lake, data house. So I'll just start and maybe others can add. So what happens, I think this is a good question, Sanjay. So what happens is mainly, it will be like first time you will be trying analytics in your company. In those cases, we recommend going to Fabric, right? Maybe start with lower capacity and then you can increase, right? So it is not a replacement for your existing components, but if you have no presence, it's a good thing to start with Fabric, right? So you get all that one lake features, everything comes at one place, and all the standalone things are there, right? Like Power BI is integrated, your data lake, data warehouses, everything is there. Now, let's say if you're already using, independently, let's say you have a Azure Data Factory, you have a SQL databases, warehouses, right? So I think it would be, it's not a replacement. As already answered numerous times, you can create shortcuts, you can continue using your data lakes, whatever there are in existing, and slowly move towards Fabric. So that's, how the architecture should evolve. Also, I think one last point I'll touch is it should be step by step, not, just put everything at one go, right? So you can start with a data lake or a database to start with. If you really need a warehouse, you can go ahead with warehouse. Sometimes you may only need a, database with some pipelines, and that should solve your use case or purpose. So you have to gradually build that architecture, right? Rather than going with everything at one go. So I think that's from my end. Anything else we missed, Rakshita? Can you please have a look?
Hello.
Right. And in fact, one Fabric item which is in preview is the SQL databases in Fabric, right? So which allows you to, also bring in the OLTP capability within Fabric as well. So, that could be something that you can also utilize to, make your, gold data available to the applications outside. That's one way to do it, not the only way to do it. I just wanted to mention that as well.
We are getting questions.
Right. So because of the question, I have a platform, and from that platform, I want to extract all data to Power BI. How can I do it? So I think we will need more details. You can obviously get in touch with Mismo team here going forward, but I'll take a stab at it, right? So Fabric is Power BI is only your visualization tool, right? So you will have to make the data available to Power BI, and Power BI supports many different data sources. So ultimately, data is going to be in a database or in a flat file or something like that. So you can actually link Power BI to that and build your visualizations on a very high level.
I think so. All questions are being answered.
There is a
So,
question on Synapse link. Is this something you want to take it now or later? From Rajesh. Synapse link.
I think okay. So maybe if this feature is not there in Fabric today, right? This is very specific. But then we have the Fabric roadmap, which is already available in public, so you can go and take a look at it to see, how the roadmap for Fabric going forward looks like actually. But at the same time, right, if you're already using Synapse, you don't really have to move away immediately. Like with Azure Databricks, these two can actually coexist together. Because ultimately, I think ADLS or your storage connections, are there with Fabric. So you can kind of you work on the same set of data, which is which you're actually working on in Synapse. And you can also work on the same data using Fabric and make use of the experiences that actually make sense for your specific scenario. Synapse is going to be maintained. It's just that Fabric is our latest platform, and all the latest innovation is going to come into Fabric going forward. Now, Synapse Link is a very broad topic, right? I think so. If you on a very high level, I think data flow Gen 2 is what something you can probably look at, for the integration piece of Atlas, at least. And there's a poll actually, in case you have not already seen it. There's a 60-day trial available for Fabric, which any of you can basically go and sign up and start exploring Fabric to see how it works, how it looks like, and how it can actually benefit your organization. So
Yes.
yeah. Okay, so I'll answer Twinkle's question first, which basically is that is it possible to analyze real-time data using Synapse? So with Synapse you get your data warehouse, and you also get analytics, right? And then on Azure you have a variety of different services that, depending upon your specific use case, you can actually use to ingest that data, and then you can move it to data warehouse, and then you can do the analytical work on top of it. With Fabric, it becomes one single platform. That's the biggest difference between utilizing non-Fabric analytical services on Azure versus using Fabric on Azure. And if I'm not wrong, I think not too sure about it actually, but Synapse Link actually supports OneLake as the sink. So for Brajes's question, actually, right? So I think you can probably reconfigure it to move it to OneLake, which again you can use with Synapse and Fabric both. Right. I think Rakshita has posted a question: possibilities of integration of data from OneLake to applications outside Microsoft Azure environment. So you can do that. It's so any application which is compatible with ADLS on Azure, can also work with OneLake without any modifications, because OneLake is built on top of the same ADLS Gen 2 APIs. So any application or platform that works with ADLS today will also work with OneLake without any changes.
Yeah. So that was question from Hardik. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I think Rakshita
you got
had
the
to-
answer. Yeah.
Thanks, Rakshita.
So with that, webinar comes to the end. So thank you all the speakers. Special thanks to Ashish sir for covering all the topics on Microsoft Fabric. And it was very informative and deep dive session into Microsoft Fabric, and you gave some insights on Copilot also, how it can be effective for your organization. So we will just connect you separately in case you have any questions, and I'm also dropping my email ID. So if you have any queries, you can raise, and we can have a one-to-one call with tech experts. So I would like to thank our speakers and all the participants for taking out the time and joining the webinar today. Till then, see you and take care. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, thank you. Bye.